Hi, I'm back. So today I thought I would continue my modal series, and today we're going to do the fourth mode, which is the Lydian mode. For those that aren't familiar, I'll go over the scale degrees. So they are the first, or the root, the second, the third, the sharp fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and then back to the root again. Okay, so if you're familiar with this mode, you probably know that the characteristic note is the sharp fourth. So it would, in this case, it's F sharp. So here's the root, here's the F sharp. So that's your tritone. So usually this is kind of a strange interval and it sounds bad, but actually in the Lydian mode, I think it sounds good, and I think lots of other people will agree. It kind of gives it a flavor that's really different from the major. So I would probably describe Lydian as being not only happy, but like happy in an otherworldly sense, or futuristically happy, or something like that. It's used oftentimes in film scores and other things to give a kind of like floating feeling as opposed to like a normal happy sound, which kind of reminds me of a Beatles song. That's just me. I don't know how you hear major sounds. But if you listen to some Lydian songs, you'll kind of see what I mean. So I'll give you a few examples. So some common Lydian songs you might know are the theme from the Jetsons. So the old 1960s or 70s cartoon, the Jetsons. If you watch that growing up, or if you watch it now, or just get up. Actually, don't do it now, but after this video's over, look up the Jetsons on YouTube and look up the theme. So this is basically just a Lydian progression, and a really cool thing about it is it goes through multiple Lydian progressions. So basically what it does is it goes through a series of Lydian progressions. It goes up chromatically. So it starts with some little like horn run up like Meet George Jetson. And then it goes up, chromatically again, like his boy Elroy, and up again, Jane, his wife. So it does that kind of thing. So if you've ever heard that kind of sound, that's where it comes from. It comes from a Lydian mode, so it kind of gives that futuristic, happy sound. Another one that I'm sure you're all familiar with is the Simpsons theme. So the theme from The Simpsons uses the Lydian mode, so that's probably the most common one that everybody knows. But there's other ones too, like for example, Maria, so the old West Side Story theme, that Maria, the main theme, is a Lydian. Also, the theme from E.T. is Lydian. If you're into instrumental rock like I am, Steve Vai's The Answer is in Lydian, I believe. And also, a very famous one is Joe Satriani's Flying in a Blue Dream. So that one is Lydian. Definitely check out Flying in a Blue Dream. Not only is it kind of a beautiful song, but that's the, that's, in my mind, that's the stereotypical Lydian sound. So if you're a guitar player, which I'm guessing you are if you're watching this, check that out. That's probably one of the songs you should listen to. And another one of my favorite songs is the theme from Back to the Future. So the Back to the Future theme is also in Lydian, or at least in parts. So those are some, ideas of what Lydian sounds like. So definitely check all those songs out, and that'll give you some ideas on what you can do with the Lydian mode. But anyways, let's get on to some of the chord progressions. Sorry, it's really hot today. I know I'm sweating, but I'll try to, bear it while I'm doing this video. Let's go on to the chord progressions. The first one I'm going to show you is just one chord. So this is the characteristic chord of Lydian. So this is a C major 7 with a sharp 11. So I'll play it like this. This is a really beautiful voicing. I really like this. I mean, to me, it sounds really good. It kind of gives that floating feeling, and you don't have to play any other chords. You can just play that. There's another way to play it too. It's played as a fourth voicing. This is a chordal voicing. So if you saw my Alan Holdsworth chordal video, it shows this chord, but I'll show it again here in case you haven't checked it out. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Anyway, here we go. So that's another way to play the same voicing. So those are cool because you can just put those anywhere. You don't have to use a progression. You can just use that one chord. And it sounds nice, or at least to me. But let's get into a few other things. Actually, I'll show you another one that you can use, one of my favorite chords that will outline the Lydian sound with just one chord. And so that is a D major over C. So if you're in the key of C Lydian, the modality of C Lydian, play a C like this, your bass note, and then play a D triad over it. So. To me, this is a really beautiful chord, and it really outlines this Lydian modality. So this is a cool one. Also, you can play it just by itself. But as far as chord progressions go, there's a few really common ones, like for example, just C major to D major. So you'll hear lots of songs do that. It's really easy, basic chord progression, but it works and it sounds good. I mean, what's better than that? Something that's easy and it works all the time. Can't ask for too much more. Some other ones that are similar, you can do C to B minor, but you have to kind of be careful with this because sometimes it kind of changes into like a B Phrygian tonality. So if I just do like... That to me sounds a little bit dark. It doesn't really sound like Phrygian. But if you put the emphasis on the C major and do this for like a longer period, like... That to me sounds more Lydian. So you kind of have to watch that. And if you really wanted to sound more Lydian, I would use a C major 7 like this, and then a B minor 7. So I think, for me at least, that sounds a little bit more Lydian. It has more of that floating feeling as opposed to a dark feeling. So that's another one I like. A third one you can use is just C major or C major 7 or C major 9th, and then go up to an E minor 7. Minor 7 with an added 9th, sorry. So C major and then E major 7 with an added 9th tension. C major 7, E minor 7 added 9. And you can even play it up here if you want. So that's another one that's, kind of cool, and it, kind of takes you away from some of the common Lydian chord progressions. So most of the Lydian songs you'll hear will just be C major, D major. So that's so common, you hear it in almost every song. But I wanted to show you a few variations you can do. Another common one that they use is very easy. Use a C in the bass the whole time, just like I showed you that C over D, and you move between that. So a D major with C in the bass to just a C major. So it sounds like this. So as I said before, Joe Satriani's Flying in a Blue Dream, it's just that almost the whole time. There's a one variation where he changes it, but most of the song is just that. So it's just those two chords, but it sounds good, so why change it? So that's another cool one you can experiment with and use and put it in your own songs, etc. So I should show you a few more things. In my Alan Holdsworth videos, which if you haven't checked them out, check them out. I show some of the 1-4-5s and 1-2-5 voicings. So you can do the same thing with the Lydian mode. So if I'll change from the C Lydian modality to E Lydian modality because I have this E drone. So I can play this and then So I played it a little bit slowly, but hopefully I didn't bore anybody or put anybody to sleep. But I think you kind of get that, happy floating sound that comes from the Lydian mode from that. So those are kind of cool if you don't want the typical Lydian sounds of just like C to C major to D major. You can break out some of those, and those will give you kind of like a little bit more tension to your sounds, and especially if you play them slowly with like a drone like that, it kind of sounds maybe a little bit floating. And it sounds, interesting, at least to me. Okay. I should stop rambling. One more note about the Lydian mode is, I don't know if I talked about avoid notes or not, but in almost all the modes there's something called an avoid note. And this is similar to a characteristic note, but the avoid notes are notes you don't want to play if you're playing in this progression. The reason you don't want to play them is because they usually clash with like the root chord. So, in C Ionin, the avoid note is an F. And that's because it clashes with the E. So, if I play C major, there's E, and then here's an F. Oh, that didn't sound too good. That was my fault. But anyways, so you have C Ionin, and then you have E, or F, and so those kind of clash together. But the good thing about the Lydian mode is it really doesn't have an avoid note, so almost any chords will sound good. So that's one thing. And also, be careful with the Ionin mode. If you play in C Ionin, C Lydian, if you play it, this G is like the major. It's going back to Ionin. So if you play that too much, it kind of gets confused and you lose the modality. So be kind of careful going back to that, or just playing like long chord progressions in Lydian, because you can lose the modality. But besides that, I think the Lydian is one of the most useful and most used modes. So definitely check it out, play around with it. And if you have any questions, leave them below. And until next time, see you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please remember to thumbs it up, check out some of my other videos below, and don't forget, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.